Hi, everybody, and welcome to this exciting episode of the show. I am so excited because I have a very special guest. My special guest is Mita Begum, and she is a mindset coach, and I love the work she does. You have so much to learn from her experience and what she does, and I'm just so excited. Welcome to the show, Mita.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Joy.
You're so welcome. So, why don't you start by introducing yourself and telling us what you do?
Sure. So I am a a founder of Glowing Beyond Consulting. And I am a professional makeup artist as well as a mindset coach. I actually integrated both of them to help women from toxic relationships from inside and out. And because women lose themselves and finding yourself again after a traumatic experience is so important, and we don't value how we present ourselves, how we look, how confident we are, not just outside but within as well. So I work with the mind as well as the outside.
Oh my gosh, that's so intriguing and fascinating for me. So, um, tell us, how did you land on this niche? Like, what was your journey like? Did you do a 9 to 5 job before doing this? How did that journey evolve for you?
Oh, wow. That's a deep question because my journey was very, very long. And anything that my work is based off of my experiences. Because I've been in toxic relationship, and I was forced to marry at 17, and was in an abusive relationship, and then had to find myself. So it's been a long, long journey. And so, yeah, I mean, it actually didn't start this way. It started with me doing makeup, and I was
Mm.
actually somehow coaching women in front of me when I'm doing makeup. They were telling me about their stories. Naturally, people open up to me. I guess I feel safe. So they open up to me, and I used to like be like, oh, why don't you try this? And I'm always motivating people, and even all the jobs that I've done, I've always had a lead hand or a supervisor or manager position. And so I guess you could call me an overachiever, and I always ended up doing a leadership position. So the last one that I worked for was the eye opening was when I worked at a financial industry. And from there, because I'm an overachiever, I was in an abusive relationship. So I couldn't, at that time, get to my goals. And
Mm.
I was like, okay, what's going on? I've always achieved my goals no matter what. I've always had the highest, I guess you could say, like positions and stuff. And what is going on? Why am I not getting to that? And when I actually, in between we broke up, I got my exams done. I got promotion done, and it was like not even maybe 2 months. And so when that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, like that actually woken me up. Like that was like an eye-opening experience for me. And from then I was like, wow, I'm being controlled. I'm being emotionally
Mm.
abused. And but because I've been in a marriage for so long, it was a 20-year marriage. Yeah. It was so from there to come to another relationship, I didn't heal. I didn't even know what healing was. I didn't know what narcissistic relationship was. I didn't know anything. I was so naive because I got married so young. I didn't have life experiences. I didn't know the dating world. I didn't know anything. But I think that relationship and that industry taught me a lot about myself. And I can see myself. Uh, I see why I got into this area of the chapter of my life at that time, because I was actually going through a phase where I wanted to take care of myself. I wanted to lose weight, and so
Mm.
there's a lot. I can tell you a lot, but through that journey, I've tried just mindset coaching. I've tried just holistic work. I dove into spiritual, I guess, spirituality instead of a religious side of things. I went deep into spirituality. And through all of that, slowly one thing failed, moved that, added another thing. But mindset was always
Mm.
my point, like my focal point, because anything outside of your mind, like we're not, emotions can be healed, but your mind is doing all the programming and the so I had to learn to deprogram a lot of stuff that I grew up with, religious stuff, family stuff. So I guess I was the rebellious in the family, the black sheep of the family, questioning everything, question. So I think one led to another one, and I failed many times, many times to for me to get to this niche. Um,
Mm,
it wasn't like an overnight that I figured out, oh, I'm gonna do this. Um, and I was doing I've always wanted to do this thing where I help women look and feel good, and I want to put a group together. So I guess in a way, my artistic side of being a professional makeup artist and me being a philosopher and being wanting to work on the mindset, and I like discipline and all these things, they all combined, and yeah, and here we are. But I had to take a lot of downfalls and to understand myself. I think a lot of women do. A lot of people who want to be in these areas, right? The coaching is not, it's not just easy, right? It's
yeah.
it's very challenging because everybody's competing. Oh, I'm good. I have this certificate. I have this. I'm doing that. So just to find your own niche and finding who you are, it took me about 6 or 7 years to be where I am. So, but I'm glad I am where I am because it's very unique, and it's not everybody can do it. And I've had I was a professional makeup artist for over 16 years, and also a celebrity makeup artist. So I kind of put that on there, but Haley Wickenheiser, she's the four-time gold medalist. I used to be her personal makeup artist. So I think that was a big achievement for me. That was my goal, to be a professional makeup artist to a celebrity. But I guess she was my celebrity, and yeah. So I've always achieved my goals. So
Mm.
needless to say, yeah,
Wow. Wow.
that
First
was
of
a
all, congrats.
very
Yeah, go ahead.
that was a very long answer to your short
Oh,
question.
it was amazing. I was gonna say, first of all, congratulations on the success you've created.
Thank you.
I feel like your life is a case study. You
Mhm,
said twice as you were speaking that you failed many times,
mhm,
and that's my story as well. But
mhm,
now it looks like this niche was made for you. Like the way you fit this niche so nicely and the way you show up now. I feel like that journey you've went through was necessary to bring you to
okay.
where you are today. So
Absolutely.
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Also,
Thank you.
I want to say that when we see people online and we meet people, there is no way for us to know where people have come from. There is no way I would have guessed that you were married at the age of 17 and that you had to go through a 20-year marriage and you had to go through the toxic relationships that you've been through. So, before we delve into business, because this is a business show, we want to know how you've created the success you've created. I want you to help us understand your mindset when you were deep in the hurt, in the pain, in the abuse. And
Mhm.
how did you find your way out? Because this is what you help women do now. And
Mhm.
it's so incredible that you are telling me this because just yesterday, I signed a new client who helps people overcome heartbreak in relationships. So maybe not exactly what you do, but she was
Mhm.
explaining to me because she's an expert. She was explaining to me that many women never process the heartbreak from past relationships and they are expecting to find love. So she helps people who are struggling to find long-term relationships. She helps them overcome all of the pain from past relationships. So it's
Mhm.
kind of ominous that you are telling me this today. So I want you to tell us what was your mindset like and how did you find the strength to break up that marriage and get to where you are today?
Ooh, that was it was a long process, I'm not gonna lie. Because I had to worry about culture.
Mm,
Um, and religion as well, and the people around me and family, right? It wasn't just and my own family as well, like my kids and um you have to learn, like I'm such a family orientated person. It took me, it wasn't a process of just overnight saying that I'm done. It was the little tiny little days that it just wore you out. It's like how I see it visually. I'm a visual person. So how I see it is, if you take a chocolate bar, I'm gonna say it in a sweet way. If you take a chocolate bar and you take like little tiny little nibbles at it, right? And that's a lot like what I was going through. It was just breaking me into like little pieces, right?
Mm,
And it wasn't it wasn't until I was doing um self-development. I was working for a job, and I became a manager there. And then from there I didn't get the position that I wanted, because I guess, I actually was listening to a podcast saying about high achievers usually don't get a lot of the positions that they want, because the manager, or the owner, if they don't see the high achiever, but they see the people who are lazy, they're just doing the bare minimum. It's because it threatens them.
mm,
So I think in a way, okay, anyways, that one was done. And then I got into the financial industry, and I was slowly integrating jobs to financial industry. And there it went very well. I think at that time I was around people who were already at the level that I wanted to be. And mentally, so I kind of watched. I'm an observer person, so I was watching them to see how they move, what they read, what they're doing to get to where they are. I think it was just being around the right people who were doing things for themselves. And because I gave so much to, and even in my culture, it's taught that women are supposed to be giving. I saw my mom, like, lose her dreams of wanting to be an artist and stuff, and sacrificing all of that to be a mom, to take care of the family, making sure everything's running properly. And for and I think certain things got to me, because at that place I was being seen in a way that I've never got in the marriage. So
mm,
for me it was like, whoa, what, you see me, like, you see me as a different person than being a mom or a wife, or trying to provide and make sure everything is right. And uh so I think that, in a way, when you're around the right um people, and the people who are actually working on themselves, um
mm,
you tend to start following them. And even if you're not going to be them, or you're not going to be in an industry that you want to be in, right? And that's finance was never my thing. But I think it was just the way they were moving, the way they were carrying themselves, how they were doing personal development. I've always been into fitness. I've always been into developing myself, right? So, but my ex-husband was never that kind of person. He just likes, but when I do a lot, he would be like, oh, you're so lazy if I do take the time off for myself or anything like that. So certain things got to me, and over there, when I sat down and didn't do anything, nobody said I was lazy, or nobody said I was not doing enough. It was like, wow, you're good job, you need the break. And I'm like, wait, what, you see me that I need a break? Like, so I think it was an escape for me when I was working over there, and in a way it matched what I wanted internally, right? Um, and yeah, and I think that was one of the big eye-opening for me, being seen and not being judged too much. And but for the how I also um worked on myself was I lost weight. I lost about, I think, 68 pounds, because I went through a very depressive state. Because I got to my makeup, I guess, celebrity makeup, a celebrity. And so after that, my ex decided that we're going to move to a different province. And I left everything behind, my business, my life, my family, the home I was in. So it was, and I was stuck in a small apartment and with
Mm,
no car, with a kid, and my all this talent that I have, and my brain was just going like everywhere that I wanted to do all these things. I almost opened up a crepe store. I've learned every single recipe you can think about of crepe. My kid got really sick of eating crepes. Um, so from buckwheat to everything. So I'm an overachiever. So I needed that, but I couldn't. So I was at home stuck. So how I took my power back was, um I literally wake up 5 in the morning to drop him off so I would have the car with my son. I would drag him. And another way was making my bed. So that was one of my way of, I guess, giving myself of an achievement that I've made. So making my
mm,
bed in the morning every day, I have to have my bed made. It was me being in control of myself, me achieving something and me completing something, um, as well as having that little moment of control that I've made the bed, it's done. I guess in a way, it satisfied me,
mm,
that I was doing something, even though there was plenty of things I was doing, but that was just in my control because I lost so much control over everything around me. So yeah, I think that was one of the and when I came back to my province again, I felt like a free bird because I had my family here, I had everyone. And not to say that I didn't try to I opened up a studio in the province I was working in because I had dropped him off at work. So I started networking, I started doing as much as I can to fulfill my cup. And so every time I reached something, he would try to take it away. So I had to find other ways to find it back and put it in my cup again. So like little things like that. So it wasn't overnight, but I actually healed after my the guy that I dated after my marriage. I think that's when I woke up to what a narcissistic relationship looks like, what a toxic relationship looks like. I probably would say I have a pretty much of a PhD in narcissistic abuse. I think every woman who's been in a toxic relationship and they've been in through these, they go within. I literally went into so much into spirituality, mindset work. I got obsessed.
mm,
Instead of trying to take revenge, I went inside of me, and I think women, naturally we go inward and men go outward, right? So I just went inside of me and like just went to spirituality, did a lot of meditation, learned about meditation, um like what are the things that I should do to change my mind and just focus on me and how I can be whole. It was a 6 year process, like a deep work of process. So it wasn't, but I see the results now. I see the fruit now of 6 years. And not everyone understood. Everybody was like, what's going on with you? You're so distant, you're so detached, you're so like by yourself. But I don't think I could put into words at that time what I was going through mentally. So
mm,
it took me a long time to even understand what was going on. Just past few years, I'm reflecting back and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm a strong person. I'm a very strong personality. And I'm a very outspoken person. I can't believe I went through all of that. Right.
mm.
But usually narcissists, that's who they target, right? The brave ones, right? And the strong ones. So yeah, so it's been a process for sure.
Incredible. I think your story is a testament to what we can achieve when we decide that we have agency. So regardless of the cards that life deals us, we
Mhm.
get to decide.
Yeah.
how we show up, how
Yep.
we change our circumstance. So
Absolutely.
I am so inspired by your story and the work you have done. And I know that many people listening will be inspired as well. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
Can you tell us the work you now do with women? How do you work with women in your coaching program?
Sure. So I teach a little bit about makeup as well as your mind. So your mind, uh, there's always a choice that you're making, right? So um, how I get to do it, I don't tell you what to do, but I guide you through what you need to do. So I have a process that they go through. So I get first I get to know them, see where they're at. Once I get to see them and get to hear them and get to build somewhat of an understanding of who they are and what they are, I kind of pick up on people very quickly because you tend to do that through your experience. And and then they go through you know I guess works pages of work that I get them to do. So journaling, mainly journaling and seeing where they are, and then I get to talk to them. So there's also um, if they need meditation or if they've experienced it. It's mainly customizable to that person. It's not really one size fits all kind of thing. I don't try to do that just because, maybe that person already does meditation or that person already does mindset work and they just need a little bit of a guidance, right? And also just being around the right people and who understands you and being safe around a person is very important too. Uh, and when you go and also about makeup as well, I don't really teach them on like a huge amount of like, oh, you have to like this is the products that you should do. It's not about that. It's more about how they can enhance their beauty. So it's so they feel comfortable, right? And they feel confident about when they wear makeup, they feel confident in that, right? And yeah, so the mindset work, it's very customizable. I don't do it for everyone, doesn't get the same stuff. So yeah.
Good. I love that so much. And I think you already answered my next question because I was kind of intrigued to find out how you work with people with the makeup side. So it's not like people have to be physically with you and then you make them up, correct?
Right. Yep. So I actually get them to bring their own makeup and I will see through all what they have and then I can teach them, give them tips on what they have, right? How to use a mascara properly or how to keep your eyelashes curved properly. Just so like it's not about a huge transformation, it's about the little tweaks, right? How to put your eyeliner on properly. I teach you like little tricks like that. Yes, there's lots and lots of information on the internet. However, not everybody will understand and pick it up. Um, it can get overwhelming, right? But if it's personalized and it's to that person specifically, uh, they're mind blown. They're like, "Wow, I didn't know I could do that to my face. Oh, I didn't know I could do that." So one of my friend actually, she's a model and she's an like a behind the scene actress as well. So was one of my candidate, I guess, and she was like, "Wow, I've done makeup on myself all my life, but I've never done it the way you've done it." And she only had bare minimum makeup. And a lot of them were expired. And I'm like, oh no, this needs to go. This needs to go. You need to clean your brushes. And I'm like, I'm gonna be truthful with you. You have to take the harsh criticism. And she's like, damn it, Mita, you're gonna make me buy a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, well, if you need to, you have to, right? And but I'm not going to give you like the expensive brands, right? It's more about looking your best, but having even like affordable stuff. It's not about being like, going to Sephora and spending $5,000 or $500. It's about, having the right products, right?
Mm.
And
Okay.
I like you can have like a concealer and you can use that as a foundation. I'll teach you how to use that as a foundation. So there's like little tips and tricks that I've learned that I had to do on runways, on fashion shows, and it was insane, and bridals and everything. So just little things that I've picked up. So
I love that so much. So essentially, you can work with people virtually, like they don't have to be in your physical presence to work with that, right?
that's right. Yep. Yep.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that so much. Okay, so I want us to go to business growth. Tell us how you've been able to grow your business to the success you have today. Tell us how you do your marketing, how you do your sales, because I feel like many women struggle with charging their worth
Yeah.
and growing their business in that way. Because as women, we want to give our services for free. Or when it comes to charging,
Mm.
we're like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure. And then we doubt ourselves. And because we doubt ourselves, the person we are speaking with doesn't see confidence. And then they say no. And then we think we're rejected because of who we are. And then we go into the cave and we cry. And then it goes in a circle. So tell us how you've been able to grow your business.
Sure. You know, we don't feel I sometimes I feel like I'm not successful. But I
Yeah.
find that other people tell me that I'm like successful and see that I'm doing great things. I've been on a few magazines and stuff. But it all comes with the confidence in within yourself. When you do the internal work, you start to see yourself as worthy of charging the right prices. And to be honest, the free thing, oh my gosh, my makeup I've done free so many years. And then to the point I'm like, what am I doing? I need to make money. And I think I got to a point in giving so much. I think no, naturally women are givers and nurturers, right? So we want to do so much. And at first when I used to ask for money, I used to be a little intimidated to ask, right? Because, oh, am I, like, I know I'm worthy, but do they see the worthiness in
Mm,
me, right? So I think it took me a long time to understand that even if they don't see the worth in me, I'm still worthy, right? And it
mm,
comes with a lot of work and a lot of rejection and a lot of saying I am worthy to yourself, and having a few people invest in you, and it doesn't happen overnight. I think it's more about, I still don't see myself as successful, right? I still see myself as like, oh, I'm still struggling, right?
mm.
But what success is defined by you. It's not about the outside world telling you that you are successful, right? And in my own reality, yeah, I think I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. A lot of I'm still nowhere near where I want to be, but that takes time, and you got to go through a process. And I think my the pricing was, I'm still I had actually had an interview, and I was telling them what I charge, and they're like, you can charge more, you can triple that. And I was like, whoa, like that to me was so foreign and so intimidating. I'm like, oh my gosh, you see me as like that worthy? And she's like, yeah, you're brilliant. Like you should be charging more. Nobody has your niche. And I'm like, but I didn't feel worthy, right? I'm still not
Mm.
charging what she has told me that I should be charging, but I will get there slowly. And it's a process of me seeing myself worthy of that charge, right? Me seeing myself as worthy of accepting that as well, right? And my thing is, I want to make sure that they get the result as they're paying
Mm.
for, right? That's
Yeah.
my, like, I'm always over giving. I will, like, whatever you pay for, I will triple that, like, of like giving, right? So it's in a way, and that's what she said too. And she's like, you look like you're an overgiver, so you should charge a little bit more because you will probably end up giving more. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yep, it's true. So she's like, so start seeing it that way. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That's actually true. So, I'm still not there, but it will take me a little bit of time to accept that, but and that's okay. And I don't force anything that doesn't want to happen in my body, because when you force something, it just backfires on you, because you're trying to push and you're trying to sell and you're trying to not get the result that you're actually trying to get. It actually backfires, right? So yeah.
I love that so much. And I think what you touched on, it's a principle of success. It's the law of the universe, and it's one of the
Yeah.
laws I respect so much. In a book I read many, many years ago, and I keep reading it at least every 2 months. And in that book, it said that give to everyone in use value more than you
Mhm.
take from them in monetary value.
Yep.
That's one of the laws of the universe.
Yeah.
The science of getting rich is come back to me now.
Yeah.
The science
Oh,
of
the price of
getting rich.
getting rich. Yep.
Yes, D. Wattles is his name. So I
Mhm.
love that principle you just mentioned because I experienced the same thing as well.
Right.
Um, when I was leveling in my business. At first, it was 2K. I upped my price to 5K. People paid, and then 10K. People paid, and I'm like, oh. But each time, I'm always like, how do I give to this person much more than the $10,000 they've paid? Because
Right.
it gets to us, right? It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this person has paid me 10,000.
Yeah.
How do I give to them much more value than they've given to me? So I love
Right.
that so much. And I think that's what many of us women struggle with, right?
Yeah.
Wondering if people will pay our price. And now I'm at the level where I'm like, okay, how do I create a 30K offer?
Right.
That's where my mind is now. I'm like, how do I create a 30K offer and get
Right.
people results? So
Right.
I love that so much. And I love that you define success individually, right? I
Yeah.
see you as successful.
Right.
The fact that you are doing something of purpose, you have purpose, something you look forward to every single morning, that's
Yeah.
success, right?
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I think your journey is incredible. I think the work you do is incredible, and
Thank you.
I'm just so grateful that our paths have crossed. And I know I'm gonna go back and re-listen to this episode over and over again.
Um,
Before I let you go, I
sure.
want you to tell us what's your mindset practice like? What do you think has helped you to keep up leveling your mindset?
Sure. I think uh, working out, which I'm not doing enough, but working out, that actually helps with your mind detaching from the reality, because you're in a different zone and you're getting uncomfortable. So anytime you can get uncomfortable is what your growth happens.
Mm.
So and reading proper books, to especially, I think certain books come to you at a certain level. The right book actually, just before I was going to do an event, I can't remember the book's name, but it's The Big Leap, I think it's called. The Big Leap, with the fish with the big anyways, so that book came to me just before I was going to do a big leap in my life and a
Mm.
big transition in my life. So because when I was reading that book, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so true. It, so books, podcasts. I'm not a huge like, and music. For me, music was very healing. Dancing is very healing. Um, so little things that make you uncomfortable. Uh, Whatever it is, going to a different part of the neighborhood and exploring that area, or meeting with new people, going to networking events,
Mm.
anything that challenges your mind to be uncomfortable is what gets you the better result, because your mind has to work through different situation, different challenges, different way of interacting with different things. So that's where I think growth happens the most. And yeah, and just taking care of your body. And so my three things that I always try to do is mind, body, and soul. So mind, I also meditate. It's not just so I just actually meditated not before I got onto this. So meditation, working out, getting yourself uncomfortable, and eating the right food. And for the food, I'm a big foodie. One food is for your soul, and one food is for your body. So make sure you feed both of them, not just one of them. And yeah.
Wow. I love that so much. And what I'm taking from what you just said, like what's sticking out in my mind is get uncomfortable. So when I wake up every morning, I'm gonna start asking myself, how can I make myself uncomfortable today? Because that's how I know I am on the path of growth. Thank you so, so much. You mentioned podcasts. Can you tell us the podcast you listen to? Because I want to go listen as well.
Oh my gosh, I listened to so many. Um, oh my gosh. What's her name? She's Alex Hamazi's
Oh,
wife,
Laila,
Layla.
Laila.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her podcast is I've been listening to it recently, and I like some of the stuff. And my thing is, I take everything with a grain of salt. I don't believe in everything that they're saying. I just listen to, or acknowledge the ones that actually is geared to my path, right?
Mm.
And I don't let everything get to me, because she says about a lot of the other stuff, and a lot of stuff, and just picking and choosing what works for you, and guides you through your path, right? And I'm listening a lot about money right now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't even go on my phone. I'm actually on my phone right now, but there's a huge list of podcasts that I'm listening to. But that's the only one that I can remember at the moment, because I'm recently just listening to that right now. But yeah, that was a good one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, amazing. I love that so much. So maybe after this, after this recording, go to your phone and give us a list so I can add
sure,
it to the show notes so people can go listen as well.
sure.
Tell us, those of us listening right now who are like, oh my gosh, I need Mita's help. What's the next step for them, and how can they reach out to work with you?
Sure. The best way they can reach me is through Instagram. And it's Glowing Beyond Consulting, or through LinkedIn, Mita Begum, or my website. I'm just working on my website right now, so it might be down for a little bit. But through yeah, Instagram would be the best at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So, everyone listening, if you are listening on the podcast, Apple Podcast or Spotify, all the links will be in the show notes. If you are watching on YouTube, it will be in the description. This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much, Mita.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Joy.
You're welcome.